On the 27th of August 2024, the landscape of JRPGs was changed forever when the announcement of the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky remake was announced. A remake of the first arc in the Trails of series, which fans have been clamouring for a long time. So now that Falcom have opened the door to remaking this JRPG, this begs the question, what is next for Falcom? But before we begin, hello, this is John aka Chicken Fillets. If you like JRPGs, Falcom and a wee Scottish guy talking about it, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now let's have a look at what is next for Falcom. So as mentioned previously, it was announced that Trails in the Sky first chapter is being remade by Falcom, which is a remake of the 2004 PSP JRPG classic. So this will focus on Estelle and Joshua in their first adventures in Liberelle, and also there will be revamped combat and a glorious art direction as well. So it would be safe to assume that the first protocol would be remaking Trails in the Sky second chapter and Trails in the Sky the third. If Falcom are going all in with their remakes, this makes the most sense. Now, as it currently stands, the original versions of these games, while they're not available on modern consoles, yes, you can download them and play them on PC, however. I would imagine that if they were to remake these two games as well, that they would be sticking with the foundations which have been laid in the Trails in the Sky first chapter remake. Because the original releases are using the PC engine which Falcom used for a lot of their earlier titles. To me, I really think this would be a safe bet in what is next for Falcom. However, with the rising popularity of the Trails series and Falcom games in general, I do believe that the next game is definitely something that we'll see remade by Falcom. I would personally love to see a remake of the Crossbell arc, aka The Legend of Heroes, Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure. The second arc in the Trails of series, focusing in on Lloyd Bannings and the SSS in Crossbell. For many, this is seen as the pinnacle of the Trails of series. I personally see this in my eyes as well after playing it on the most recent ports of the game. Now, there could be an argument to be made here that yes, there was ports released for the likes of Nintendo Switch and PlayStation and PC. However, realistically, what is stopping Falcom from remaking the Crossbell arc with the Trails in the Sky engine? By the way, for clarity, I don't know what the name of the engine is that they use, that's why I keep on referring it to the Trails in the Sky engine, okay? Another point which came to my head when thinking about this is, well, we have visited Crossbell in multiple occasions in a 3D environment in later Trails games. Could the assets be reused again or touched up, etc., to remake this game a lot quicker than what we would expect? Either way, I would absolutely love to see the Crossbell arc remade similar to Trails in the Sky first chapter. Now, if a remake did get announced for the Crossbell arc, I honestly believe that it would get the same reception from the JRPG community like it did with Trails in the Sky first chapter remake. It would be outstanding. Now, whilst we're on the subject of Trails games, let's talk about the Trails of Cold Steel. Now, before you think, no, do not suggest a remake of Cold Steel. No, I wouldn't do that. What I would be looking at here is I believe that they could do a remastering of Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2. Now, after the releases of Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, the likes of 3, 4, Reverie, and the likes of Daybreak all have had graphical uphauls compared to what was previously released in Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2. And if I were to use, for example, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII as an example of how to remaster a game all the likes of Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 would really need is getting a graphical overhaul, because the actual gameplay itself is solid, the music is amazing. Just having a graphical overhaul would do this game wonders. And I think as well, if the previous suggestions that I made were to kind of be uniformed as well with their look and style, this would just carry on this for the player and keep that immersion going. Because as we know with the Trails of series, it's a massive overall arc, and you want to keep the player invested and immersed in this world. Now, so far in this discussion, we've mainly focused on the Legend of Heroes Trails of games, but what about Falcom's other titles? Now, one of Falcom's flagship titles is the Ys series. We have Ys 10 Nordics on the horizon to be released soon. So it is definitely in the realms of possibility for a remake of earlier Ys titles as well. Now, Falcom is no strangers to remaking these games already. The likes of the original 2 games have had remakes, and the likes of Memories of Celceta is a remake as well. Now, if I had to pick one that they had to remake, what came into my head was Ys 7, which was originally released on the PSP. Now, my thought process was a very basic one with this. Now, the most popular Ys titles from my knowledge at the moment is the likes of Ys 8, Ys 9 and probably Ys 10 when it comes out. So a lot of people will be looking into the past of the Ys series, so why not bring a Ys number titled Ys 7 back to the forefront? So we have talked about possibilities for remakes, remasters with Falcom titles, but what I want to know from you is, well, what would you want to see Falcom do next? Leave a comment down below. Falcom have certainly got us JRPG players hyped up. Now, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on this channel, well, please help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, you know what to do. Hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tatty bye.